A brief description of my action plan that I propose was how the pandemic affected students' learning during the shutdowns, the unprecedented shutdowns, and what actions can be taken if another pandemic should occur, and also how can we prevent learning loss in the future if another unprecedented shutdown should occur. Overview: the data that I used to create my action plan was surveys, interviews, and let's do that again. I used was surveys, interviews with 3 groups. The 3 groups that I used specifically were students, parents, and educators. Okay? My next part of my action plan is the use of stakeholders and the role that they will play, with a specific timetable for implementing these plans. Okay, so for the stakeholders, when it came on to parents, I interviewed parents and asked them how they felt during the pandemic and how did they cope, and what plan we can do going forward if another pandemic should occur. So some of the suggestions that came out of this was we discussed, parents and educators alike, which myself, we discussed with parents or stakeholders how to, on top of teachers presenting online learning, how they can use websites like Khan Academy for reading and math. Okay. Also, find ways to, have a personal link where they can reach educators like myself, whether it's a phone call or email away, so that if they are stuck with doing math with their students, perhaps, there's, on top of Khan Academy, they can reach direct instructors for examples and help. I gave them examples also. We discussed examples of using YouTube videos for reading, math, just in general, just different help that they can help their children. For students, their role, again, was interviews and surveys. And in the interviews with students, questions were asked like, how were they affected? And some of the students said they missed their friends during the pandemic shutdowns. They had no urge to log on because they weren't able to see their friends physically. And we came up with different things that we can do in case something should happen, like a shutdown again. And lastly, educators. Educators like myself, it was very overwhelming for us. We never experienced teaching online before because we were always in the classroom. Some of the things that we came up with as educators, on top of the online learning experience, we came up with ways to motivate our students in case a pandemic should happen again in the upcoming future. Different roles that we can play with them, learning roles, not just online, but maybe FaceTime with a phone as well. And a timetable of coming up. My timetable was a period of 3 months where we looked at different data and look at different data specifically to see how we can implement positive things if there's another pandemic, and how we can prevent learning loss. Okay, the expected outcomes and benefits is that each group, parents, students, and educators will be able to handle a pandemic better in the future. We'll have certain things in place to help students directly. We'll be able to observe mental health, realize if a student is suffering because they, not that they don't want to learn, but in general, they just depressed. So learning different techniques as parents, educators, and even the students, what to recognize with their friends and how to help. Okay. Overall, the plan of my action plan is to help students in general, to be better learners, and to not have a learning loss like what many of them experienced during the pandemic. Thank you very much.